Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Tenpines Bluff, and today we're going to just continue on with the kind of survivalist theme, if you like, the very minimal builds that we're doing, and we're just going to make a little hut, little survivor's hut in this space right here. And the challenge here is to make it look as though it should be there, and the settlers would have pushy. The settlers would have built it out of materials that they could find. So I'm going to use barrels, boxes, whatever, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a design twist, I guess, but yeah. You will see if you stick around to the end of the video that the design I come up with, the settlers tend to use it in a slightly different way than I had envisaged. So anyway. The settlers do like what I build here, and I will show you that right at the end of this video. There'll be a tour as well. So this doesn't take long. Something you can very easily knock up in your own settlements. Now, I had to grab these barrels. I had to go a few iterations of these barrels because there's a couple that with the mod that I'm using that are only turning yellow. These ones turn green, so I can move them around. So that's a lot easier. Now what I'm going to try and do today, I'm going to try and use the pillar as much as possible so that you guys can see that you can build these in your own settlement. You don't need fancy Nancy mods or anything like that. Now I will also explain to you a few of the errors that I make in it. It's more to do with build order, but that's much later in the build. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to put one of these kind of little pallet bridge thingy lackeys down, and I'm just trying to gauge the kind of width of the overall building. So it jumps up and down for a while before I place anywhere to put it in. You could, again, you don't have to do this. What you could do is put that floor down first and then put the barrels around it, and they actually snap quite softly. I want to get that as close as possible to the barrels. But you'll see when I get put these barrels in, watch this, they're actually quite soft, so you can get them nice and close. So that, again, that's just a build order thing. You put the floor down first and then the barrels in second. You won't need to place it anywhere at all. So thanks for all the support on the last few videos that we've had. I know the Red Rocket videos were extremely popular, and I got a lot of nice comments and a lot of nice suggestions, and you seem to want me to continue this kind of theme of doing very kind of basic survival builds that are kind of realistic and you would expect to see in your settlement. Now these barrels are a different height, and I'll try and get them about the same height, but what I find out later in the build is they're a bit lower, and you can actually physically see it there than the barrels in front of us now on that kind of left hand side, and that does cause a little bit of an issue, but we get round it and you'll see what I'm talking about in a little while. So I started with one idea. I had to scrap that idea because I had to get a little bit more height in the walls here. So we're going to our favorite crates. We'll pop a couple of those on each side, build up the walls, and you can see there is a seat sitting there, and we're going to use that in a minute. So I like that things aren't quite as straight and streamlined as they could be, because if somebody built it, it's just a case of they've thrown these boxes on just to make a kind of rough shelter for themselves. Now this one doesn't want to sit on, and it's only because I haven't spent a bit of time lining up that crate in front of it. And so I do a lot of faffing here, and then I walk over and go have a look and see what's going on here. There's something not right. See, it sits there, and all of a sudden I go, oh, that's right, it's sticking out. So maybe if I move that crate there across, it will get a bit tighter in, and it does. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we're going to use these seats as part of the wall. A little bit of a design twist. in hindsight, I probably should have kind of faced them in, but anyway, they could have probably been shelves or something. But anyway, not to worry. Make sure if you're going to do this, get the pillar as low as possible. Now I'm using that pillar that comes with the USO mod, which is a bit longer than the normal pillar. It's one that I use a lot, and I do think it, because it's a little bit longer, it just allows you to get up a little bit higher, which can be a bit of an issue when you're building at times. So you can see that pillar glitches in. With that A-drama, you just have to grab it on the front if you're going to face the seats out, on the back if you're going to face the seats in. I hope that all makes sense. So, going well so far. So, my idea here was, I'm going to move that crate across, and that one beside it just moves across along with it, which is nice. My idea was I wanted it, what the, what, get away from me. Okay, so we fixed those up. Yeah, okay. Do you ever get attacked when you're building? Well, there's your answer. The idea was I wanted to have some supports, wall supports, but I wanted to do something that was a little bit different with the wall supports. So there you go. Now you can see what we're talking about before with the barrels. There is a height difference, and I don't actually pick it up until I try and put a roof on this. And we're going to go to these ply floorboards here. Probably use the bigger ones because of the length. And now I'm just measuring how many, so you can see, okay, so I'm going to need a couple going across there. Now you can pillar glitch these in if you like. I'd use place anywhere here. What I'd advise you to do if you're going to glitch them in via the pillar, I'd use the scaffolding and then use a pillar to that, just so that you can get the height right there. Okay, so about roughly there. And it's always good to check your angles. That's not quite where it should be, so we need just to nudge that a little bit. There we go, that'll do. And this one, now you can see this, there's a height discrepancy now. So I've got to try and figure out how to do that. It's a pretty easy fix. I'll try and push those up now. The middle ones just flick up. So rather than put all this down and have a hassle, see if that's made a difference to bring it up. Not really, it's not quite there, so we're going to put that in place and pull these ones down. Makes much more sense. There you go. It just means we have to reposition everything, but you know, sometimes that happens. I use place anywhere for this, but you know you can glitch those in, so you just have to pull it. Saves me pulling everything to bits, and that's about right there, and we'll just bring that other one up about there. So it just takes a bit of time just to get this right. There you go. Now the beauty of these boards, at least the boards that I use from Workshop Prearranged, is that everything will snap to them, and you'll see that in a minute. We just anti-shimmer over this stuff just to make sure it's not vibrating. So yeah, coming along pretty nicely. I'm going to use these roofs here, these ones, these sloped ones, and I'm going to use the littler ones, and you can see those, they just snap to those ply boards. It's not quite there, so we just need to pull it across a bit. And now we're starting to get somewhere. It is actually starting to look like something. Okay, so I want to put a kind of semi-rect back wall on there. So again, pillar glitch. Because I'm going for the back, I'll grab the front of it and push it away from you as much as possible so you can see it, so you can line it up. And you need to try and get it level and with the slope of that roof. It just takes a bit of finagling, but it does go in. So I'll push it away so I can see what I'm doing. I'm in the boundaries right behind me, so I've got to be careful I don't overstep the boundary to then there you go. And that should be exactly where I want it to be. Just have a look. Those gaps I'm not too worried about because I know how to fill those in. We can do that, no problem. So you can see it's just starting for a fairly simple idea. Just keep building and adding pieces onto it. I'll go with this piece. I want to put a piece on the side here, and I had some issues where it wanted to grab and snap and stuff, so I'm going to have to just ease it in with the pillar. There we go. It should pick it up from there. There we go. Beautiful. And then we just get the height right, ease it down. There we go, and drop it in. Excellent. It's like an annex on the side of the building, but it's still all looking very scrappy and sort of homemade, which is kind of what the vibe I'm going for. That should just snap straight into the edge there, like that. There we go. Now this is where the load order lets me down. Those you'd be able to glitch those in with the pillar, no problem, but you'd have to take all the barrels and out and everything and do those first. So I'm using place anywhere, but it is possible with the pillar. It's just a load order thing that you'd have to do those first and then put all the barrels in and all the rest of it. So yes, we're going to store that piece of concrete. Problem. So there we go. So that could be a utility shed. It could be anything. I'll make it in a dwelling, but you could make it in a kind of storage area, a workshop area. It could be anything. Multifunctional. Let's push that across a wee bit. There we go. And we're good. And you can see it's very much thrown together. Little facility. One of the last things I'll do, I'm going to put a floor in first. So here's a strange thing that happens, and you'll see in a second. So I'm having some issues where that's flicking up, flicking up, flicking up. So I'm going to use place anywhere for this. And again, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, I'd advise that you put the floor in first and then build around it. So always build from the bottom upwards. I'm improvising, so I'm not sure what direction. Now see how that would flick up before, suddenly it snaps in. No idea why it does that. Sometimes it just happens like that. And so there we go. We got a little bit more of a floor in there to work with. And the last thing I'm going to do is put the shack railing in. Now it wants to snap to everything except the point I want it to snap to. So one of the tricks you can try is to snap one on the corner there, and sometimes it will snap in like that. It's not cooperating. So what I decide to do is I decide to use the pillar, and the pillar works fine for this. So let's just take it out here, drop it down there, pillar in like that, and this is the kind of last pieces of the puzzle going in, and that should just see that glitch into there, no problem. Just to give them a little bit of privacy in here. And I'm thinking, okay, so we want to close it in just a fraction more. So I'm going to have to extend that roof a little bit, and I'm just going to use one of these metal roofs here like that. Snap that to there like that, and it's got a little bit of an overhang, but I don't mind that that's got a little bit of an overhang. And I'm going to go to my tried and trusted little mesh fence here for the window area. So I'm going to get that one without the poles on it. I'm going to put it in right there. So just measure it up, drop it down, grab the pillar, and we'll just move it into place. And it does take a while to get this where I want it. It's not perfect, but I actually don't mind it, because a little bit of the wire is going to stick out the front there, but that's okay. It's not too bad. Just move it across a fraction. There we go. See how much we can push it here. And it literally is just easing it in until it's about where you want it to. That's fine. I can live with that. Couple of supports in, and then pretty much we'll go to the tour, guys. It's a pretty kind of straightforward little build. Once you get running, once you get the idea is kind of flowing, then getting it all to work is pretty easy. Okay, so let's have a look what I do to dress this up a little bit. and we'll go to the final tour, which is early morning, and I'll talk you through some of the changes we've made. So you can see I've put a breeze block wall in there, some potatoes in the front because this settlement's got nothing but potatoes. You know, there's a little seat there, a little bench, you know, a little flower, improvised flower basket there from a breeze block. Got a water pump there and an outdoor shower, very luxurious as you can see. I've built a little shelf there from kind of planks and boxes, and we have a little facility in there should you get caught short. And we'll go inside and see what's going on. There's a little fire there if you want to warm yourself, and a lantern just to light things up. You can see the flower box there. Sink round the other side. Not too much going on. I could have junked it up, I could have put a whole lot of junk around it, but I decided not to. I decided to keep it a little cleaner than normal. And then this is the little doorway, and you can see it's pretty nice and basic in here, but you know, it gets you out of the rain, and it's I think it's pretty believable. It all fits in with the overall settlement and the overall look. So to show you how this design actually has a bit of a flaw, I'll show you how the settlers are using it, and I didn't anticipate this. So come to night time, the settlers like this place. They have a bit of a seat, and you can see, yeah, okay, yeah. There's invisible stairs there apparently. He just hops up there and has a bit of a seat. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya!